So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to AS Roma Theory. We are back in Europe. Now we all know what happened the last time we played in a European tournament. We won it. It was way easier than this year's tournament, but it was still a European tournament. Still a European championship. There were tough teams there. So I do think this season, obviously it's going to be tougher, right? Europa League is 10 times harder than Conference League. Partly due to the fact that most Champions League teams, even though they, got eliminated from their group stage in the Champions League, they are still very good teams, and the teams which get third in Champions League group stages, obviously, as you know, get into the Europa League. And that makes things, 1, way more interesting, 2, way more competitive, and 3, way more harder. But life is life. Life is tough, and I'm happy we're in a tougher competition. I'm happy that we're facing tougher teams than last season, because I think, and this is something which I've said many times, I think Roma, especially in these last recent years, has been the real Italian team in European tournaments. Don't get me wrong, Roma in the Italian league hasn't been great lately. The last time we won a Scudetto was in 2001. But I think in European tournaments, Roma is getting more of a grasp when it comes to the mentality that is needed in those tournaments. Don't get me wrong. Much of this did start after that 3-0 Barcelona comeback, but 2 years after that, for example, we got in a Europa League semi-final, which is very good for a club like Roma. Last season we won the Conference League. So the mentality for European tournaments is definitely growing in this team, and you can definitely tell that. But today, obviously, we're going to speak about Thursday's match, because Thursday's matches are, what do we call it? Or the celebration, because we're back in Europe. And we're playing in Bulgaria against Ludogorets of the city of Razgrad. And, we've faced a very similar team in our Conference League group stage last year, and it was CSKA Sofia. Now, the Bulgarian league, and I think any Bulgarian fans can confirm this, basically is always a fight between Ludogorets and CSKA Sofia. And up to now, so all the game weeks they played in the Bulgarian league, CSKA Sofia is actually first, and as you can see from the screen, Ludogorets is actually second. And last season, we won 5-1 at home against CSKA Sofia, and if I'm not wrong, we won 2-0 away in Sofia. I think it's going to be a similar game, and however, the Udinese result, I think, does change Mourinho's initial plans for the lineup. And I didn't put the predicted lineup on because some people asked me to go through it while we talk through it and not immediately launch it to you guys. So I will pop my lineup, my predicted lineup, in a bit before talking about it, because I think the Udinese disaster definitely is restraining Mourinho to actually perform some changes. I think if we would have won the Udinese match, I think many of our starting players would have rested. Don't get me wrong, I think the Bodo Glimt match last season explains that we always need some experienced, some top players. But I think if we won the Udinese match, the overall squad change would have been way more noticeable than after this. Because Mourinho knows that the team, after that 4-0 disaster, cannot allow themselves to lose points in Bulgaria. And I think seeing Atalanta on such form, and seeing the fact that we are playing Atalanta not this weekend but next weekend, and after the Atalanta game we have the Inter game. So in 1 week, in 2 weeks, we're going to play 2 very big matches, which immediately put a big significant mark on our Serie A table, which are Atalanta and Inter consecutive matches. I think to prepare the best way possible for those matches, we need to get 9 points out of the Ludogorets match, out of the Empoli match, and out of the Helsinki match. It is fundamental for us to get, let me just turn this blind down, to get 9 points from these matches to prepare the best way possible. And, Mourinho knows that this match is there for the team's mentality, for the team's momentum, and for the team in general to bounce back. Because the Udinese match was a shock. And this is why I think we will see changes, but they will not be that big of changes. I think Mourinho kind of will keep some big players. And for example, I think the defense will be the same. And I think the goalkeeper will be the same as well. I think despite the flop, the bottling of Rui Patricio against Udinese, Rui Patricio will start. And I think the defense, the defenders, the original defenders will start. However, I think there will be a slight change in the formation. Because I think we will get back playing with 4 defenders at the back. And I think we're going to play with a 4-2-3-1. I think we're going to play like this. One, because I think we're a better team when we play with 4 defenders at the back. It makes us play better. And I also think it is very important for this team, lacking Zaniolo, to play with 3 midfielders, attacking midfielders, behind the striker. If Zaniolo was here, I don't think we would have played with 3 midfielders behind the striker. But that's, we miss Zaniolo a lot. And I think the fact that we miss Zaniolo means that our striker, if it is Abraham, if it is Belotti, gets way less support than needed. And to kind of balance that support which Nico gives to the striker, I think when Nico is out, and potentially when Nico's back in, we need to play with 3 players behind our striker, because it gives way much support. It's not good enough that our strikers only have 1 goal in the out of all the matches we played. We talked about how Tammy is living a tough moment. Belotti just came. Shomurodov isn't getting chances. Yes, but from a striker you need more goals. And one of the reasons why I think our strikers don't score much this season and haven't scored us much this season is because the support has been poor. So this kind of explaining this predicted 11, I am going to talk about that. I'm going to show you my predicted 11, and then we'll comment about the predicted 11, and then we'll speak about Ludogorets for a second. So that's the plan of this stream. If you haven't already, smash the like button, subscribe, and all of that stuff, all of that beautiful stuff. Do it if you haven't already. So let me show you my predicted 11. My predicted 11 is this. My predicted 11 is exactly this. As you can see, it's a 4-2-3-1, and we have some changes, but we also have some big players starting. Tammy, we've got some news on Tammy, because apparently his shoulder injury isn't bad at all, but I do still think he will rest for this game 100%. He will be back on Monday for the Monday night against Empoli 100%. It's nothing major, it's just a slight problem. But I do think even if Tammy was available for this match, I think Tammy would rest this. And Mourinho knows this. So Belotti's starting, and that's the first change. Second change is Zalewski up front. We discussed this already. I think Zalewski up front brings a lot of speed, and that's exactly what our strikers need. And obviously that leaves the space for Spina to start, because I'm not going to start Vigna after... Mourinho's not going to risk Vigna, especially after what Karsdorp did. And speaking about our fullbacks, Mourinho isn't going to risk Karsdorp again. So Celik is going to start. Spina's going to start our fullbacks, just because Zalewski is starting up front. I think Smalling will rest, and Smalling deserves a rest. Because, realistically speaking, this is a match which, yes, don't get me wrong, the Bodo Glimt match last season was a complete explanation to never underestimate matches. But I think we can win this match even with this squad, and even with Mancini and Ibanez in defence without Smalling. And I'd rather Smalling rest and play well against Empoli on Monday night than now. And I think Ibanez and Mancini will start. 2 defensive midfielders, Kamara to debut, that's the big update. And the second update, which a lot of people are going to say, no, no, Simon, why Cristante? Cristante is shite. Matic needs the rest as well. Realistically speaking, Matic, in my opinion, has been great, but he needs the rest as well. And against Udinese, he wasn't amazing. I'll be honest with you, he was not amazing. And I think I just started Cristante again. People are gonna think I'm favouring Cristante here, but I'm not. I put Cristante because Matic needs a rest. And I think we can win this match even without Matic and even with Cristante. Another reason why I think we should try something different instead of Cristante and Matic together is that Cristante and Matic are two extremely slow players. And we've seen against Udinese how slow we are. Kamara hopefully brings some speed in that midfielder. Runs back to grab the balls, runs back up to give support to Belotti and Terra 3 attacking mids. And I think, again, another big thing, I think Dybala will rest. I think Pellegrini will start, and I'll explain why in a second. I think Zalewski will start because he deserves to start. And I think Shomurodov will get a chance. I don't know why. I have a feeling about this. I'm not, again, this isn't necessarily the lineup which I would choose. This is the predicted lineup. This is what I think Mourinho will choose. It's not what I would choose. I would definitely not choose Shomurodov, but I have a feeling Mourinho will. I have a feeling this is a classic Shomurodov match where we're playing against a team which we can play with Shomurodov on the pitch, and Shomurodov shines, and it's a Shomurodov masterclass. I can see that happening. I'm not excluding that. So I am going to start Shomurodov, I'm going to rest Dybala, I'm going to start Pellegrini. And the only thing which I will say is that Pellegrini needs to start. Because this is a match where Pellegrini can shine. This is a match where Pellegrini can even bag a goal. And all that Pellegrini needs right now is just a goal or even an assist to boost that leadership and that confidence back up. He is the center of this team. If his confidence is down, the team's confidence overall drops down. If his leadership drops down, the team doesn't play well. And I think Pellegrini just needs a goal, even an assist, even a contribution to get that leadership back up, to get that will to play and to be Roma's captain again. And I think everyone else will start playing better. So I think starting Pellegrini in this match is a must. We need to start Pellegrini. In fact, I'm calling it. If Pellegrini starts this, Pellegrini is going to score. He's in so much need of goals, of assists, of contributions, that this is a match where he will shine. Trust me. And then Belotti up front, Tammy rests. Tammy rests one. We talked about how he needs a psychological rest. He needs a mental health rest. But he has that shoulder problem. And yes, he could potentially be ready for this match. One, we do not want to risk him. So Belotti's to start. And again, as Logical says, it's Belotti's time to shine. Belotti knows that Tammy's living a tough moment, and Mourinho probably told him this. So, Belotti's got quite a responsibility to grab the goals in this tough Tammy period of time. But yeah, this is my predicted 11. Now let's switch back to the other graphic, because let's talk about them. Now the first thing which I will say, we can beat them easily. We can beat them even without Dybala on the pitch. Dybala's creativity, we can beat them without Tammy on the pitch. And we can even beat them without Smalling on the pitch. Again, I'm not trying to downgrade. I'm not trying to downgrade Ludogorets, because we all know what happened last season when we downgraded teams. And I think roughly, it's also what could potentially happen. And what happened against Udinese. We definitely downgraded them, especially because we were living such a hype after the Monza game. This is something which needs to stop. And I'm controversial here because I've just said we can beat them without the big players. But the reality is we can. I think they aren't a fast team. And the difficulties of Roma are when we play against fast teams. Bodo, Atalanta, Udinese, Helsinki is my big threat of this group stage. Because I have a feeling Helsinki are a very fast team. And we have problems with a very fast team. Ludogorets are not a very fast team. And I don't think Ludogorets have a lot of experience when it comes to these tournaments as well. So we can win this match without the biggies in our field. And again, I think they're used to these Eastern European tournaments. And again, I'm not trying to like classify everything. Respect to them. They've been, I say they have no experience, but they do get in Champions League sometimes, Europa League sometimes. But what I mean is that they do not have experience other than the group stages of the European tournaments. But they have a style of play which is like many Eastern European tournaments. The Serbian league is very similar to the Bulgarian league. The Polish league. They all tend to play dirty games in a way that they love aggressive football. And that is what we need to avoid. We need to avoid injuries because they're a classic team which can injure half of our players. And it's important for us to not get many injuries out of this match because then we're absolutely screwed. But yeah, again, I think we can beat them. They're playing at home. We all know that Eastern European football fans are very fierce fans, are very wild fans, and that can definitely play on their advantage, but obviously, Mourinho will not accept anything other than the 3 points against this team, and to be honest, I don't accept anything. You see, at a certain stage in the Udinese match, I was like, right, I'm very happy if we draw this match. Even if we were to get 2-0 down against Ludogorets, I would be like, no, I'm not happy with the draw. Even after all the dynamics of a potential Ludogorets masterclass, I would not be happy with a draw. Because these are the teams which we have to destroy in Europe to try and get far. And I think the big objective is to get first, and it's going to be tough. I think you can clearly see the two teams, don't want to jinx anything again, but you can clearly see the two teams that you're going to go through. Roma and Betis, that's the favourites before any match. But then obviously you need to guarantee this being favourite. The big fight I think will be between first and second position, and this is where things change a lot. Because when you get first or second in the Conference League, it doesn't change much. But when you get first and second or second in the Europa League, it changes a lot. Because if you get second, you have a higher chance of getting teams who get from the Champions League. So it's important for us to get first. It's going to be tough getting first. I'm not hiding the fact. But if we don't win against Ludogorets, then we're immediately imposing this obstacle for us and saying, we're not going to get first. So I think it's a tough group stage. It could have gone better. But at the same time, I think we're lucky about it. We just need to not underestimate any match. And this is something which we learned. This is something which made us grow last season after underestimating that 6-1 Bodo Glimt. After that performance, I saw a completely different team. A team which won the Conference League. A team which was way more secure and confident about themselves. So, I mean, the situation is this, ladies and gentlemen. We spoke about the match preview. We spoke about how Roma comes towards this match. Not in a great mental way, but I think it's a good time to bounce back. It's a good time, as I said before, to get 3 points, add 3 points to our list, and prepare the best way possible for other matches. It's important to grab a clean sheet. If we can get 3 points and a clean sheet from a foreign country, then that prepares you very well for other matches. And I think we're capable of getting a clean sheet even without Smalling in defence, something which we never managed to do. Which is actually weird. We don't get many clean sheets without Smalling, but it's another challenge. Imagine Smalling gets injured once and we didn't buy a new defender. These are the dynamics Mourinho needs to get used to. So I wouldn't start Smalling, and I think we're capable of starting without Smalling. So, ladies and gentlemen, match preview of the Ludogorets Razgrad match. If you haven't already, make sure to smash the subscribe button, make sure to smash the like button, follow me on Instagram over there, down below, in the orange box, over at Simon Lorescore, ASR Lorescore. I said it already, tomorrow is Mourinho's press conference analysis. If he does go live, he randomly at times says no to press conferences, but we'll see what happens. I think he'll definitely go live for the first European match. So we'll talk about that, and then on Thursday, it's the live watch long. It's my birthday on Thursday, so let's negotiate a good present from the Roma boys. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this match preview. Let me know in the comments your general match previews. Let me read some comments. We'll bounce back, says Eddie. Once we don't play two center in the midfield, we'll have good gameplay. And for the bigger games, Zaleski and Chilik, and we will be great. I'm not worried we got this. AS Roma. Hi Simon, why don't you like it if people criticize Pellegrini or Mancini, but you like criticizing if other players like Banyas or Karsdorp? I never said anything. I mean, it's your own opinion, lads. If you want to criticize them, I think they were way better players to criticize after that Udinese match. You know, frankly speaking, I think Karsdorp was way more to criticize than Mancini. And, you know, I've said it as well. Pellegrini is not playing well, and this is exactly why I chose him. I chose him to get a spin around his momentum, because he needs to get back going. Belotti's time to shine. Start Bove, not Cristante. That's something I was considering. But after the Udinese game, I think Mourinho would prefer experience over speed, potentially. But we'll see what happens. Again, I'll catch you soon. Simon, out.